Meek Mills, you at a Diddy party dressed in matching outfits. Women don't even do that no more, fam. And you got a midget between y'all legs? I knew you was strange when you was bunny hopping for them white boys. Man, come on out the closet, man. Come on.
Is that he's dressing like, he dressing the same he dressing like Diddy? Hugged up with Diddy?
What's up, King Son?
Just trying to enjoy his life.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
I appreciate it. Love you too, man.
Yeah.
That opening clip is the kind of thing that travels across every platform simultaneously and lands before anyone has time to verify what they're actually watching. Two men in matching outfits at a party, a comment about what that means, and a description of behavior that, placed inside the context of everything the public now knows about that environment, sounds considerably more specific than casual observation. Whether the person saying it actually knows what they claim to know is one question. Whether the internet cares about that distinction before forming an opinion is a separate and considerably more predictable one.
When Jeffrey Epstein started showing up in places, white people started saying, hey man, what is that guy? Who is he? What do he do? How did he become rich? Man, they started giving a pushback. There was never no pushback against Diddy, even with all the rumors of him killing Tupac. So I don't think Diddy just got something on the executive. He got something on everybody.
Comparison to Jeffrey Epstein is the one that keeps resurfacing in this conversation, and it deserves to be examined carefully rather than dismissed or amplified reflexively. Because what the person making it is pointing at is a structural observation. Not that the situations are identical, but that the pattern of widespread awareness without widespread pushback is the same. Epstein existed publicly for decades before the question of how he made his money and what he was doing with it generated serious mainstream scrutiny. The same question applied to Diddy's world is the thing that makes people in certain circles genuinely uncomfortable. Not because the answer is necessarily the same, but because the absence of pushback for so long requires an explanation.
You understand? So I can imagine him play fighting with Lil Rod. Because, you know, a lot of people could say what they want to say about Diddy. You know, he got a knuckle game. He will fight you. You know what I'm saying? You his size, you understand? Around your size, so like that, he would fight you. He had a knuckle game. He wasn't that dude that like people try to say he was some old scared ass nigga. Nah, he would fight you. You understand? So I could see with a person like Lil Rod, he probably was roughing him up, grabbing him, groping him, you know what I'm saying? Acting like he playing with him, but he actually want him to do what he want him to do. So, like I said before, that's in the past. So when I read it from Lil Rod, I see he's doing the same shit in the future.
So he was doing this with females too back then when you was around.
Right. That's how him and Kim got into the fight, and he, you know, play fight. He used to play fight with the pillows, like the pillow fight, that dumb that, you know, that's kid shit to me. But if that's the way they do, that's the way they do. You understand? He used to do it with Kim all the time.
So the horseplay was his way of grooming you in a sense.
Well, that grooming, that's some new. You know what I'm saying? We didn't call it grooming back then. That his horseplay was a way of letting you know I could really hurt you if I wanted to. You get it? I could really hurt you. And that's what that kid probably felt. Yo, why he doing me like that? Oh, he just playing with you. No, he was letting you know if I turn this up, I could really hurt you.
And that was his way of trying to get you to be submissive to him.
Right. He's letting you know, he's putting in your mind, listen here, bro. He's trying to put in his mind, we're playing now. But if I really want to turn on you, it's on. You ain't got no wins. So that kid is feeling, yo, listen here. In his mind, if you read the documents, in his mind, he was so scared that when he went to other people in the camp and say, why did he treat me? Why did he doing this and doing that? They say, oh, he just playing with you because he love you. He like you. He was, no, he was trying to instill that fear in you that he had in you. And he won.
Here is the detail that most coverage of this situation skipped past in the rush to form an opinion. Meek Mill was never named in any court document. Not once. What actually happened is that a civil lawsuit, filed by music producer Lil Rod Jones, referenced Diddy allegedly boasting about a personal encounter with someone described only as a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. One vague line in a civil filing. That was the raw material. The internet took that single description and filled in the rest with a speed and confidence that had nothing to do with evidence and everything to do with the specific combination of proximity, timing, and the algorithm rewarding engagement over accuracy. By the time Meek actually addressed it publicly, the story had already traveled so far from its origin that the correction was fighting an uphill battle against something that felt established to millions of people who never read the original filing.
How you feel about this Meek Mill and Diddy situation? Like Meek Mill, saying no Diddy and him getting backlash, people feeling like, he being fake because, he had a relationship with Diddy. Like, how you feel about that?
My man, I can't judge Meek Mill as a man. I don't know Meek Mill as a person. You understand? And if he wants to say no Diddy, no homo, no this, no that, that's his choice. I know a lot of Phillies dudes and they strong out there, and some of my people are cool with Meek Mill. You understand? People. Some of my people are cool with Meek Mill's people. Meek Mill was a young guy, and Diddy was an influencer, and he may have influenced a lot of things that Meek Mill got caught up in the game in. Brother, I don't know Meek Mill as a man. You understand? I know some of his people through my people who knows his people. If Meek Mills want to say no Diddy, if Meek Mills want to say no homo, I don't have a problem with Meek Mill doing that. Meek Mill's got to deal with what he got to deal with based on the relationship him and Puff had. Dressing alike, being cozy, Puff calling him daddy, saying little innuendos to him. People are looking at that and saying Meek Mill is wrong for saying no Diddy.
When Meek finally spoke, he spoke through two channels, and the contrast between them tells you something about how he was processing the situation. The posts on X were raw and fired up. The language of a man who felt genuinely violated by what had been done to his reputation and wasn't going to perform composure about it. The complex interview was more measured and analytical, the language of a man who understood that the record he was putting down needed to hold up to scrutiny rather than just express his emotional state. Together, they paint a picture of someone who attended some of Diddy's events, specifically the New Year's gatherings, while making equally clear that he did not attend the white parties that have become central to discussions about Diddy's inner circle. And the detail about substances being the most extreme thing he personally witnessed, offered openly rather than defensively, is the kind of specific admission that carries a different weight than a blanket denial of everything.
How you feel about this Meek Mill and Diddy situation? Like Meek Mill, saying no Diddy and him getting backlash, people feeling like, he being fake because, he had a relationship with Diddy. Like, how you feel about that?
My man, I can't judge Meek Mill as a man. I don't know Meek Mill as a person. You understand? And if he wants to say no Diddy, no homo, no this, no that, that's his choice. I know a lot of Phillies dudes and they strong out there, and some of my people are cool with Meek Mill. You understand? People. Some of my people are cool with Meek Mill's people. Meek Mill was a young guy, and Diddy was an influencer, and he may have influenced a lot of things that Meek Mill got caught up in the game in. Brother, I don't know Meek Mill as a man. You understand? I know some of his people through my people who knows his people. If Meek Mill want to say no Diddy, if Meek Mill want to say no homo, I don't have a problem with Meek Mill doing that. Meek Mill's got to deal with what he got to deal with based on the relationship him and Puff had. dressing alike, being cozy, Puff calling him daddy, saying little innuendos to him. People are looking at that and saying Meek Mill is wrong for saying no Diddy. But you can't tell a man how to spend his money and how to make love to his wife or his Diddy. So, I don't know. I don't know, Mike. I just don't know.
Nah, I feel you, man. You know, I get it, man. I see where you're coming from. But I gotta ask you about this party, right? That Diddy threw for Meek Mill. You heard about how the owner, she came out saying that she found used condoms, lubricant, razor blades, powder, blood on the bed sheets. You heard about this?
No, what happened was is that Diddy had rented a mansion out for Meek Mill's birthday party. And he had rented it for like $25,000. I remember we rented one of Cher's mansion out. You know what I'm saying? And that's the day he had fired his cook, but that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? It was me, Wolf, Mace, Ock. Was Ock staying there? No, just me, Wolf, Mace, Puff, and there was one other person staying in the mansion. But anyway, long story short is that they came recently. This happened a long time ago, but they recently just made a statement that they found loads of cocaine. I wonder what they did with the cocaine, because they didn't turn it over to the police. They said they found loads of cocaine, razor blades. They said that the sheets were bloody, nasty. They found a whole lot of used condoms. And it was a Diddy party, giving in Meek Mill's honor for his birthday. I was like, yo, wow. They said it was disgusting the way that they left the place. So I know they got hit with another bill on top of that $25,000 and the different deposits they had to put down for cleanup and all this other stuff.
The birthday party story involving the rented mansion is the piece of the surrounding conversation that adds the most specific texture to what the environment around Diddy's gatherings actually looked like. Used condoms, lubricant, razor blades, powder, blood on the bed sheets. A cleanup bill that extended well beyond the original rental fee. Whether every detail of that account is accurate is something only the people involved can speak to. But the description of what was left behind after a party thrown in someone's honor, thrown ostensibly as a celebration, is a portrait of an environment that wasn't operating by the rules that most people apply to how they treat a space that belongs to someone else. And the fact that these details are attached to an event specifically associated with Meek Mill's birthday makes the question of what he knew about the nature of these gatherings considerably more complicated than a simple attendance or non-attendance. Distinction.
You can't be that guy at the gay party getting mad at the gay dudes hitting on you.
Right.
You at they function. So now you gonna be homophobic in here?
What?
You the jerk right now. You the clown. You at they shit getting mad. They try to see what's to you. Yo, dumbass.
Give me a take on the flack that Meek Mill has gotten throughout all this, you know.
Meek Mill's situational awareness is just low, bro. Like, that's all it is. But the man had his Amazon account hooked to his Twitter. He buying dildos and everything. It's showing on his Twitter, bro.
You can't do that.
Look that up. That's real. He just crazy, bro. Like, that's all it is. Like, you know, I feel like Meek is an honorable dude. He just kind of, he just don't be up to speed a lot of times.
Is that audio real? What are you getting?
I don't know. That audio, I can't confirm that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is this, like, the feds announced that they have a video of Diddy on camera assaulting a male. You see what I'm saying? So, like, if they making these type of announcements, bro, if they had anything on Meek Mill, bro, like, that's everywhere. Because he just got out of jail and then got off of probation, got a judge fired and all type of things. Like, so it's people who want to see him look bad.
Right.
So if they had it to be out.
The bot argument is the one that's easiest to dismiss and the one that deserves the most careful consideration simultaneously. Because Meek Mill claiming that a significant portion of the online outrage against him was coordinated and artificial, rather than organic, isn't just a convenient excuse. It reflects something that media, analysts, and platform researchers have documented, repeatedly, that coordinated, inauthentic behavior can manufacture the appearance of consensus around a narrative that a much smaller number of real people actually hold. Whether that was happening in his specific case is genuinely difficult to verify from the outside. What's harder to dismiss is the structural observation that sits underneath the bot claim that a single vague description in a civil filing became treated as an established allegation against a named individual before anyone checked whether the original document actually named that individual at all.
And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mills, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood, whereas that he's dressing like, he dressing the same, he dressing like Diddy, hugged up with Diddy. I think that Lil Rod know a lot of but I know this. Two men dressing alike, it's just like two men laying down. When they both get up, they both homos. And that's real talk, bruh. My man, you go to a party, dog, and the same shirt you got on, I'm taking my shirt off. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. And then, not to blow Meek Mills up out the water or anything like that, it was said that they checked his Google search and all the other and he was searching for some online gay porn and all that other shit.
Oh, wow.
That shit is crazy, bro. But listen, those are what, you know, it's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be questioning about his manhood with Diddy. But he put himself in that position.
Meek Milk. As far as I'm concerned, he Meek Milk. I ain't calling him Mill no more. That's Milk. That's Meek Milk. Added to the honeycomb. You got a meal.
So you believe the Dwayne Martin story that could have happened?
Of course. Everybody know that shit. Everybody knew they was just ain't nobody know Dwayne was folding him over like that, taking him to Pound Town. And all these black running around marrying these sitting there convincing other women to go chase a fag. Go get you.
Yeah.
Look at my it isn't he? Can you imagine if he's told the truth about their relationships? I want you to meet my husband. He a fag. Would you like to come over? I'll make cookies.
Now, Jack, you know...
That's what these is doing. Hey, young man. Come on over. My husband just wants to touch you for a little while on camera. I promise you, you won't feel a thing. Sniff this.
Okay. So
Really? You stand on red carpets with this and you sell an image of lies. Then you influence the public and ask the public to covet and want your life. Who wants that? Who jealous of that? A bunch of whack too afraid to find a real man and real love. So you marry a get for a Birkin bag and then turn your head while he's getting a bunch of kids. I don't feel sorry for none of you, bitch. Don't y'all sit around writing your books, telling your sob stories. He was a going in. You should have known he was gonna be a You married that and made babies with it. Look at Nicki Minaj. You got marrying level 3 spenders. And do you know since then, she done moved out. She don't live at the house they was living at no more. Kenneth there by herself. She literally got him a zoo. And she feels it was who don't mind rough.
The question Meek asked about, collective silence, is the one that the coverage of his situation largely buried under the drama of the initial claims. Why is everyone else who was in those same spaces not saying anything? Not a specific accusation directed at specific people. A structural observation about what it means when a group of people who were all present in the same environments during the same period collectively choose not to characterize their own experiences during a federal proceeding that is examining exactly those environments. If everything was above board, the path to clearing the air is straightforward. Say what you saw. Describe what you experienced. Let the account speak for itself. The fact that virtually nobody in Diddy's broader social circle has done that, has chosen instead to say absolutely nothing, is either the behavior of people with nothing relevant to add or the behavior of people calculating the cost of relevance.
Justin Bieber just came out and said that Diddy and Usher were drinking his blood in the form of adrenochrome. This is happening, y'all. The Epstein files is not just pedophilia. There's cannibalism in there. They're eating children. They're drinking blood. They're harvesting blood for adrenochrome. For those of you that still don't believe, I don't know where your mind is at, but you need to wake up because this has been happening. We've been telling you that this has been happening before the Epstein files were released. And after the Epstein files were released, some of y'all still don't believe it. And I don't know what's up with y'all. Wake up.
Now I see with Diddy, as soon as he sued that liquor company, Diageo, CNN dropped that video. He's a cheap dude. If he would have paid Cassie what she was owed for getting urinated on by the Punisher, that's crazy. You got a guy named the Punisher in the house with your wife? What's really going on? Now, he didn't pay her out. He ended up paying her $30 million. Innocence don't cost that much. Yes. So there you gotta think about it. Jeffries, human trafficking, he gets arrested. They say he's unfit to stand trial. Harvey Weinstein beat 2 cases. They just now convicted him on something, but you don't see any of it in the news. He's somewhere at his house relaxing. Jeffrey Epstein,
the files
not
there.
They were on her desk
Yeah.
one day, the next day they're not there. I know how this game goes because I've been a person people have called to fix situations. You know, I've been somebody who people will call and look, we need this person to look very bad. How can you help us? How much are you gonna pay? Okay, this is what we can do. You feel me? It's been situations where politicians then pissed off people. They'll go out drinking on the town. They'll wake up with in their room passed out. They're gonna call me and tell me what's going on. I'm gonna charge them a fee, and then I'm gonna take that money and go feed families and all type of stuff. And then I'm gonna try to help them out with that situation. because they play games like this. You know, something that always happens is if you start to press a celebrity about paternity test, you might be going into the supermarket, come out, see a gun in your car. Now the police pulling up. Whose gun is this? Now you're going to jail. Those type of things happen. You feel me? So things get very dark in this line of work and in these topics because Diddy was arrested with defaced firearms, hardcore narcotics. His drug mule was arrested, getting on a private jet. These are all things that violate interstate commerce, federal RICO laws. None of these charges was brought up. How can you have defaced firearms, automatic rifles in New York, in your hotel, and no charges get pressed about that? So once I saw that, I say basically they trying to punish him. He thought he was bigger than the program. They want to let him know, like, look, you cannot beat us. Don't play with us. We're going to spank you on the wrist. You're going to sit in jail 5 or 6 years. We ain't going to give you life this time. But next time, you finna get life.
With a warning.
It's a warning. I knew it was gonna happen. That's why I said I'm about to leave. Because I promised my mom I wouldn't be violent no more. Yeah.
Matching outfits observation carries more weight in context than it does as a standalone comment, because what's being described isn't just a fashion choice. It's a pattern, specific behaviors and aesthetics associated with a specific kind of closeness that the people in Diddy's inner circle understood the implications of, even if outsiders watching from the outside didn't. The people making these observations aren't operating from evidence. They're operating from cultural codes, shared understandings about what certain behaviors signal in certain environments among certain people. Whether those codes are reliable guides to truth is a genuinely complicated question, but they are the language this entire conversation is being conducted in, which means understanding them is necessary for understanding what the conversation is actually about.
I would be bodyguarding somebody else and end up at some of his parties. They keep lying and say I work for him. I never said I work for him. That's something that these people do.
Yes.
So they got me in a lawsuit right now saying I pointed a gun at Diddy and protected the lady from him. How am I doing that and working for him? It don't make no sense. So like I've been having a lot of attacks, people trying to discredit me, but I got the receipts. And been a lot of punishment going on. No pun intended.
Yes.
No pun intended. Crazy work. So yeah, I knew it was coming. So I was like, pause. I knew that was going to take place. So I was like, I probably should leave. Because it's like, my mom told me she wanted me to eventually, settle down, have a family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, have some children. It's hard to date in this line of work. I never really had many serious relationships. I only had 5 girlfriends my whole life. I don't have no children. I dedicated my life to my path and it paid off for me. And I'm not damaged, I'm a gentleman at all times, until it's time, Chivalry has not died. So it's just like, I'm gonna keep doing what I do, but when it comes to this, people gotta always pay attention to the underlying facts. Because if Lynn gets caught with several rifles and cocaine and drugs, Lynn's gonna be having to go to jail.
Yes.
How come he not going to jail?
Detail about never showing up to those events alone is the one that deserves to sit with people longer than the rest of Meek's account. A man who consistently emphasizes that he always traveled with 3 or 4 of his own people from Philadelphia, that he never placed himself in those environments without his own support structure around him, is describing a form of risk management. Conscious or not, deliberate or instinctive, that behavior reflects an understanding that those environments required a certain kind of protection. People who feel entirely comfortable in a space don't habitually bring their own crew to every interaction with the person who controls that space. The parallel between his situation and the Epstein network analysis is the one that legal commentators keep returning to for a reason. Both cases involve the question of how far knowledge extended, who was aware of what, and whether proximity to a powerful person's alleged behavior creates any form of accountability for the people moving in that orbit.
Jeffrey Epstein's island list. Homie Chris Tucker name on there. There's a bunch of people name on there. But isn't it ironic that they giving us all the details about Puffy and then give us no details about Jeffrey Epstein? So, homie, I just want to remind people, as humble and as meek and righteous as you think your favorite celebrity is, they exist in an evil world. And for them to maintain in that world, they have to be okay with evil things. Whether it's T.I., man, you have to be okay with evil things because you don't get this high. Religious people have always said that evil things and evil high power of principalities exist in high places. Evil exists in high places, huh? How do you think he could do that for so long? And now you got videos of later of him coming out saying, man, they might arrest me for these kind of motherfucking parties. Because most evil things is in plain sight. We just don't know what to look for. But I'm gonna say this. He ain't been accused of fucking no babies. So fuck what he did to them people. Because I know it wasn't a freak off. It was a big orgy that they was having. And how you go fuck because I'm a rich and I got these hoes coming in from Texas and they go come to New York and they go but yeah, them hoes want some money for me to how you go hit me with man, I'm getting these hoes something for that pussy. These ain't prostitutes. It's a fair exchange. I'm a rich man. Every pussy I get, I got to fly in from another state and be willing to give them something. Man, this the part of the rich and famous life.
The Epstein parallel being drawn here is structural rather than literal. The point isn't that Diddy's situation is identical to Epstein's. It's that both cases reveal the same fundamental dynamic: a powerful man using wealth, access, and the leverage that comes from knowing things about powerful people to maintain a protective silence around his behavior for years. The you-know-what files demonstrated how many names existed within Epstein's network without most of those people ever facing meaningful public scrutiny. That same framework is now being applied to the question of who traveled in Diddy's orbit, who attended what parties, and who was aware of what was allegedly happening in spaces that were treated publicly as exclusive celebrations and privately as something considerably more complicated. The detail about Diddy's arrest, involving firearms and narcotics that never generated specific charges being offered as evidence of protection, of an understanding, between Diddy and certain powerful people that maintained his operational freedom until it didn't, is the kind of observation that requires verification but reflects a genuine question about how someone accumulates this much documented proximity to federal violations without consequences for as long as he did.
It's people that went to Diddy parties but never went to the after party.
Two pair of funky lips will say anything. Well, they know what's at the after party. You never heard nobody speak on nothing. Why have they been silent for so long?
It's a lot of hearsay about what goes on.
That's what I'm saying. It's been hearsay. Why did it take the FBI, the government, to come in and say, man, we know he's been doing this. Here's what we got. When there's been hearsay about it all this time and all these years. He's been shielded by them, homie. They never shied away from him. They know he's been beating up Kim Porter. They know he's been torturing Cassie. They know he's been doing it. So why nobody ever shied away from him?
Because he's CEOs that's keeping great relationships.
Man, somebody wrote a book.
All these CEOs are going to his parties. That's how he's keeping the leverage.
How you know?
I read the book.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say with some specifics. How you done told you this? Yeah, you know.
Allegedly.
Okay. It sounds about right. But he CEO, and he also fucking artist. The other celebrities. You not getting invited to the party. Remember they say you gotta tell him no. You gotta tell Diddy no, remember? So Tyrese said, I'm not going to the after party. Man, they all been to the after parties. You mean to tell me when you first became a star and didn't nobody know who you were and you was trying to get in, you didn't go to the party? You got to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nobody have pushed back against this culture that Diddy's supposed to have created for us in the black entertainment world. There's been no pushback against him. When Jeffrey Epstein started showing up in places, white people started saying, hey man, what is that guy? Who is he? What do he do? How did he become rich? Man, they started giving a pushback. There was never no pushback against Diddy.
The strategic dimension of Meek Mill speaking out proactively deserves honest examination because it's real regardless of what motivates it. By going on record with a major publication while the trial was still ongoing, he placed himself clearly in the category of people who chose transparency over calculated silence. That optics distinction between someone who spoke and someone who said nothing matters enormously in the context of a federal RICO investigation where the co-conspirator net can extend surprisingly far and reach people who believed their distance protected them. His announcement of a private investigation into the coordinated campaign he believed was targeting him sent an additional signal that he intended to pursue this aggressively rather than simply wait for it to pass. And the personal argument about his teenage son going to school and having to navigate these rumors grounded the conversation in something that transcended reputation management. That's a human reality that exists independently of whether every element of his account is accurate. The absence of pushback against Diddy's world, compared directly to the scrutiny that Epstein eventually faced, is the observation that sits most uncomfortably at the center of this entire story, because the question it raises isn't about Meek Mill specifically. It's about the entire structure of how information about powerful people moves, or doesn't move, through the entertainment industry, the media, and the legal system. The CEOs at the parties, the executives maintaining relationships, the people who knew about Kim Porter and Cassie and said nothing. The party guests who attended and never characterized publicly what they witnessed. The system that allowed someone to accumulate defaced firearms and narcotics in a New York hotel without facing charges specifically related to those items. All of these details point toward the same underlying question that Meek Mill raised, and that the federal proceeding is now forcing into the open. Not just what did Diddy do, that question is being answered in court. But who was aware? Who benefited from the silence? Who made a calculation that staying quiet was in their interest? And among all the people who chose silence over transparency, how many of them are genuinely comfortable with that decision now that the trial has made the conversation impossible to avoid?